Hello everyone, it's Scott, and I'm back with our last top 10 list, and today we're going to look at the top 10 uncommons from Duskmourn House of Horror. But before we dive in, remember to like and subscribe to get further content like this throughout Duskmourn spoiler season and beyond. So let's take a look at our top 10 uncommons from the set. So first I've got Pyrogasm, which is a reprint for 1 and a red mana. Pyrogasm deals 2 damage to each creature, and I've got this coming in at number 10 because really red right now it has a problem where you really don't have a way to deal with small creatures on the opponent side of the board very effectively. We've got some 1 mana, it does 1 damage, or you go ahead and do something like Brotherhood's End that would do 3 damage to everything, but that usually kills the stuff on your side as well. Where Pyrogasm doing 2 damage I think is going to be kind of the right thing for the deck, because if you have prowess creatures on the board, they're going to go to 3 toughness and that'll protect them, and then you'll be able to attack through to get some damage in at that point. Coming in at number 9, I have Optimistic Scavenger for a white mana. You get a human scout, that's a 1/1, and it has Eerie, and whenever an enchantment you control enters the battlefield, and whenever you fully unlock a room, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And this is one of the cards that I really feel is going to make the enchantment deck playable in Standard. We've had, in the last season before rotation, we had a Selesnya enchantments deck, and they had a card that did exactly the same thing, and that was a good card, so I know this one will be a good card in Standard as well. Next, I've got Exorcist for 1 and a white mana. You get a sorcery and exile target artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. So this is an upgrade over Destroy Evil because you have the ability to kill an artifact here as well. Now, it's not toughness, it is power, so it's a little bit more limiting on what you can kill in terms of creatures, but I think this is a logical sideboard card for any white deck, and I've got it coming in as the number 8 uncommon. Coming in at number 7, I have Withering Torment for 2 and a black mana. You get an instant where you get to destroy target creature or enchantment, and you lose 2 life. This is going to be a key part of black sideboards and possibly some main decks if enchantments are a real deck in Standard, because being able to destroy an enchantment is not a common ability for black cards, and because of that, I think this is an easy include in sideboards and potentially main decks in Standard. Coming in at number 6, I have Violent Urge for a red mana. You get an instant, and target creature gets +1 and gains first strike until end of turn. It has Delirium, so if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, that creature gains double strike until end of turn. So this is our card that I think potentially could be one of the surprise cards from the set. We know we've got the Gruul Prowess deck, we've got a Boros Prowess deck, and we got a couple of other decks that people are trying to play Prowess in, and to me this is an ideal card for those decks. It's going to get a prowess trigger, but what it's also going to do is get that +1, give that creature first strike, and a lot of times you're going to be able to activate the Delirium on this card because you'll be playing some sorceries, some instants obviously, and then you might even play an enchantment or a Fabled Passage. You're going to get 4 different card types in your graveyard, I think fairly early in the game, to make this in the late game be another way to give a creature double strike, and typically when you give a red creature double strike, that usually ends the game on the spot or within a turn or so. Coming in at number 5, I have Splitcan Doll for 1 and a white mana. You get an artifact creature, that's a toy, it's a 2/1, and when Splitcan Doll enters, draw a card, then discard a card unless you control another creature with power 2 or less. So Splitcan Doll is your new white card draw. We've had, again, cards like this in the past, and they definitely see play. This one's slightly better because it's a 2/1, and I don't feel like the burden of having a creature with 2 power or less on the field is going to be a bar that decks are going to use this can't overcome. So I think this will be a highly played card in Standard. Coming in at number 4, I have Coordinated Clobbering. For green mana, you get a sorcery and tap 1 or 2 target untapped creatures you control. They each deal damage equal to their power to target creature an opponent controls. So I think this would be better if it's an instant, but being able to tap a creature and then have that deal damage to one of your opponent's creatures is a really strong ability in Standard, because we know that we've got a lot of, gruel colored creatures that have high power and toughness, and because of that, I think this is going to see a decent amount of play in Standard. Next, at number 3, I've got Gremlin Tamer for a white and a blue mana. You get a human scout, that's a 2/2 with Eerie, and whenever an enchantment you control enters the battlefield, and whenever you fully unlock a room, create a 1/1 red gremlin creature token. This is another one of our enchantment payoff cards that is at the uncommon spot. And this one's going to actually grow your board quite a bit. So I really like this one. And I think it helps the deck overall have a little bit more power level in it than it might otherwise. We've already talked about one of the cards from that are going to help initiate this kind of strategy. And I don't know if it's going to just be an Azorius enchantment stack, or if we're going to go into blue, white, and green with that deck, because we do have Calyx still out there. That was a key part of the last enchantment deck that we had, but we'll find out over the next few weeks where that deck's gonna go. At number 2, I have Inquisitive Glimmer for a white and a blue mana. You get a enchantment creature that's a Fox Glimmer and is a 2/3, and enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Unlock cost, you pay 1 less as well. So Inquisitive Glimmer is our activation card, or really our card that's going to help us the most in playing our enchantment style deck. We've got a lot of good enchantment creatures in this set, and we've got a lot of real quality enchantments already, so the ability to reduce their cost by 1 mana, I think is going to make this a very, very sought after card in Standard. And coming in at number 1, I have Sheltered by Ghost for 1 and a white mana. You get an enchantment that's an aura, an enchanted creature you control. When Sheltered by Ghost enters, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Sheltered by Ghost leaves the battlefield. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has lifelink and ward 2. So this, I think, is an incredibly powerful card for Standard. First, it's going to make the creature you put this on much more difficult to kill, because it's got that ward cost ability on it as well now. And the ability to do this for 2 mana is going to really matter in Standard, and I like the fact that this is any non-land permanent. It doesn't have to be a creature, it could be any non-land permanent your opponent has, and you can take it off the battlefield for that 2 mana. And if your opponent can't kill this creature that this is enchanting, then you're going to have the ability to gain life, grow your board, and go from there to win the game, hopefully in a few turns. All right, that's our top 10 list, and I'll have more Duskmourn content coming up in the next couple of weeks as we start talking about and playing decks from Duskmourn. And I have also put my top list for rares and mythics here as well for you to take a look at. So thanks for staying to the end of the video. Again, remember to like and subscribe to get further content like this throughout future preview seasons. Thanks. I'll see you next time.